what the fuck were we doing in Cocoa Beach, Florida? What is this?
Gulf Breeze, Florida.
And it was you and I?
No. It's not even relevant. I shouldn't have said it, and I'm sorry. Sorry.
Wait,
you're curious now, aren't you?
No, that was an awesome opening.
No, I swear.
This isn't awkward at all.
I swear I had a good question.
Okay, that's a good question. Let's see if we can salvage it.
My good question is, in Evening with One, you told us that you put LGBT characters in your movies for your brother Don, and we haven't really seen many LGBT characters since Alyssa and Cooper in Chasing Amy, and I'm wondering if we're going to get any more in the future, or if you have a good coming out story like it for your brother, like you do for Malcolm.
Whew.
Sorry.
I was like, where the fuck are all the lesbians and gay people in your movies, and how come I don't ever get to see any of them mention Alyssa and open the door of what's going to happen in the future? No, fuck that. Okay. Let's think about it. You're saying this is Chasing Amy? What about Dogma? In Dogma, we revealed that Jay thinks about dudes when he masturbates. Kinda gay.
I was wondering if we were going to get any more that are...
Flat out. And,
yes.
I don't know, man. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna make a hockey movie. There's gotta be a gay person in there. All that locker room talk. Come on. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to win the Stanley Cup, win the Stanley Cup. You know, do something that very few people in the world can do, and then close that door and just be like, it's time we all fucked each other. Everybody gather around the cup. If I include that scene in the hockey movie, is that cool?
I'll count it as a win. It's not what I was asking, but I'll definitely count it.
I'll count it as a win, she said. That's funny. I'll count it as a win. I don't know. I mean, at a certain point, it's tough to tell somebody else's story. You know, I can't really write well for gay people because I'm not gay. I'm bi-curious at best, you know? So you can't get that real honesty that comes from somebody that knows what it's like to have somebody else's dick in their mouth. The more I think about it, though, I could write really well for lesbians. Because I know that world, you know? I know what it look at me. I love to eat. That was a nice reaction, but it didn't sound anything like the fucking Twilight panel clip I watched, man. Anybody watch the Twilight? Was anybody here for Twilight? Were you here? All right, shut up. No, stop. Come on. That's the next generation. That's the next generation of fans. That's what I love about a comic book convention. People will come to a convention, stand there in a fucking Spock costume, look at somebody in a Chewie costume, and be like, look at that fucking geek. How dare you pass judgment on those 12-year-old girls who like vampires? They need to be encouraged, because in 6 years, there'll be 18-year-old girls who like vampires. And are all sorts of goth permissive and whatnot, so don't poo-poo it. There's a plan, and it's working. But I watched that clip. Somebody was in the audience, and then I guess in this very room, and they showed the clip, and you see a sea of heads in the audience, the screen way in the background, and you could barely hear the clip. It's just like, they're all screeching. At one point, like the chick fella gets on a bike and shit, and she's hanging out with the wolf boy, and you know, she's like, I'm gonna fucking take off on this bike. She don't say that, but the dialogue, my dialogue was better, I assure you. It doesn't have to be great dialogue. It just has to feel tween angsty, and that's perfect. And that's what tweens do. They jump on bikes and they race off and shit. And then she wrecks on a rock and shit. And then, because she saw the Fang Boy, saw Rob Pattinson and shit, and reacted like every 12-year-old girl in the world, was just like, ah! And dumps on her bike. And then Wolf Boy runs over and shit. It's adorable. He runs over, he's like, "Are you okay?" You know, it's a long beat that I hope gets edited down before the movie comes out. "Yeah, I'm fine." You know, he's just like, "Let me help you." And he fucking rips his shirt off. The dude who's like the equivalent of a 16-year-old boy is just like, "Let me help you." And you know, you got bounce a quarter off his pecs and shit like that. Dude's got a six-pack, not a fucking beer store. And you just hear the whole audience going, "Ah!" And the room is just, you can feel, even when you're watching the clip on YouTube, you can just feel the room get moist. You know, like sweating. So that was a nice reaction, but that was nowhere near fucking that dude's reaction. That motherfucker is just the king of the world right now. I hope, Rob Pattinson's name, right? Pattinson? I hope he is fucking up a storm, man. And I'm not even talking about, like, his key audience, the chicks, you know, the 12-year-old girls. Like, of course, naturally, if he wants to stay employed, he'll stay away from them. I'm talking about their mothers, you know? All these older chicks that read fucking Twilight. My old lady read Twilight, and she was like, "Look, you know, it's not for me, but I can see where, you know, it's very romantic for a young girl." And she had a sparkle in her eye. And then she started wearing a Team Edward shirt around the house. What kind of nonsense is this, man? So I hope Rob Pattinson's taking full advantage of shit. Chicks are just like older chicks teaching him shit. Never mind fucking his own age. Fuck a cougar, man. Fuck some woman who's gonna teach you a thing or two, you scrawny toothpick, you. Just be like, "I'll make you glisten and shimmer." Anyhow, that's part of the problem. That's why I don't write for gay characters. I'm too busy talking about that bullshit. That's why my characters talk about that bullshit. But, you know, I like to help where I can and whatnot, because I love the gay community. I'm just hedging my bets in case I cross over one day. But, you know, Small Town Gay Bar is a movie that friend Malcolm Ingram made, and threw money into that to get it made and whatnot. I try where I can. You know, I try, but I don't know. I feel weird writing flat-out gay characters, because it just feels like I'm putting on a minstrel show, because what do I know, you know? Can't get into that mindset. I got tagged too many times on Chasing Amy with people being like, "Those don't sound like lesbians." I'm like, well, of course they don't. They're written by a 27-year-old jackass from New Jersey. Taking a guess, you know? So, I don't know. I can't say no, I can't say yes. I guess we just killed a lot of time saying nothing. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, though.